worth trillions of dollars.
Youngster Year.
As I'm sure you noticed in the title, I was recently lucky enough to sit down across a table with the one and only Doug Martsch, the brains behind the band Built to Spill. I probably don't need to emphasize how cool of an opportunity this was, so I'll just say it was certainly a milestone interview for me, and I'm looking forward to doing more in-person interviews like this in the future. So enjoy this quick conversation with a brilliant and humble musical mind. Here it is. First of all, it's been a very busy year touring-wise, as was last year, of course, with the release of the album and everything. I think you just, spent like a week in Australia or something like that. You've been at this for a while, obviously, right? Like 30 years or so. So if you can think back to those like early days when you were just starting out, what kind of differences are there now, compared to what it was kind of back in the day?
Sure. Well, there's so many things that are different now. I mean, for one thing, I'm playing with different people, and that's a really different experience.
Right.
I'm playing with a couple of women, and I don't know. I mean, some things have changed. A lot of things haven't changed much at all.
Really?
We play a lot of the same clubs that have been around that long or close to it, and know a lot of the same people, in these towns and these clubs and stuff. I don't know. There's to me it seems more similar than different.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's surprising to me to hear.
I mean, I guess when we first started touring, there wasn't GPS, and and of course that's maybe the biggest change of all.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. And then you mentioned playing with different people. It's my understanding that you've always been very fond of this idea of like a rotating lineup or a shifting lineup for the group, and you kind of got away from it for a while. I think it was like 10 years or something like that. And then, of course, recently returned to it. What about this sort of diversity in musicianship really appeals to you? Having it's like a rotating lineup from album to album.
Well, it's kind of a few things. I mean, one thing is just to not to have a specific sound, so the band can be sound different from record to record if it, there's nothing holding us down to anything. And also just the experience is fun, playing with some different people, and having different people in your life and getting to know them and, their people and everything. It's nice to expand, connections and stuff.
Has that ever presented any kind of challenges with cohesion among the group? Because obviously it takes quite a bit of that to play live shows and things like that.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe to some degree. I think music's pretty... I mean, that's the thing with our music, at least. It's pretty loose. It doesn't have to be any kind of specific thing. The songs themselves, can kind of... are a little elastic. And it doesn't have to sound like the record to me at all. It doesn't matter. Hopefully people in the audience feel that way too, to some degree,
So.
appreciate the take that whatever particular lineup has on the songs.
Okay. All right. And, we're all obviously super excited that you guys are here. For most, Built to Spill is kind of the draw of the festival. I was in a coffee shop on Wednesday, local, just up the road, and that was what everyone was talking about. Oh, you're going to go see Built to Spill the night before the festival and everything. And so, you're the headliner for this sort of exclusive pre-show. It's a smaller venue, more intimate, personal. Are these opportunities to interact more closely with your audiences, are they something that you actively seek out, or do it just kind of happen sometimes and you're, happy to play them? Or?
Yeah, we play shows this size all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, this is not unusual for us.
All right.
Yeah, in smaller places, smaller towns, even sometimes in big cities and stuff. We play a place that's this small, a couple nights or something.
Sure. Okay.
So, yeah, this is We play anything. We
Okay.
don't give a fuck.
Yeah. And you've been just kind of throughout your career on rosters with, big acts or just multiple other bands and things like that have a larger draw, and so you play larger venues, and so you tend to prefer this closer, smaller setting?
I don't know. Actually, I did a lot when I was younger, but I kind of like anything now. I like playing weird, like festivals, outdoor stages and stuff, and playing for people who don't really know who we are or really care about us.
Okay.
I enjoy that. So to me, it's more about my own personal experience of like how the sound is for me,
Yeah.
on stage. We've been playing with in-ears for, a few years, and that solves a lot of the problem with, makes it so it sounds pretty good every night, because that can kind of make or break your night. For me, especially,
Yeah.
I think for a lot of people. So yeah, I have as long as I'm playing well and my shit's all working and stuff, I don't care if there's a dozen people or more.
Okay. What is it that appeals to you about playing for people who don't know who you are, haven't heard your music before?
I just like, I guess, I don't know. I think that's an interesting question. I just like to play, and I kind of like imagining someone sort of hearing us and like, what is this? Or, or just ignoring it and walking on. And there are some people up front that are listening.
Right.
Like there's always someone that's paying attention, caring about it, even if most of the people there don't care about it. I don't know. I feel like at this point in my life, I've been just doing this so much that even if you don't really like my music or my voice or something about me, it's still like the band's good, and I've done it enough that I'm good enough that you can enjoy it, hopefully on some levels. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
like I have
absolutely.
a confidence of just doing it my whole life that it took me a long time to get to, that I didn't have until I was, well into my 40s.
Yeah. And right. And so just to be an active musician, putting stuff out for as long as you have, it does obviously take a level of self-assurance, of confidence, and an element of kind of not really caring what people think to some degree, because people's ears change. Your style, I'm sure, has changed quite a bit over the years. Is that the case with you? You said it took you a while to build up that confidence, so what was it before then, do you think, that kind of kept you going?
Oh, I think that for me, the whole reason I was able to be a musician and make music was because I had such a small understanding of music as a
really?
young person, that I had no idea what I was doing, what was important about music, and I just kind of went for it. I had a friend who was a good musician, but never really tried because he just had really good taste in music, and like never thought he could play stuff that was as good as what he liked, and so it was kind of not worth it to him.
Okay.
And I never really had that. I kind of didn't really care about being that good and wasn't that impressed by it and never even aspired to it. And I don't know, somehow in that I was able to like press on. I was able to like kind of imagine the music that I wanted to hear and just try to do it.
Yeah.
And I had such a little small idea of how to do it right, that what ended up coming out was kind of probably better than if I was good at it, or like had more personality or something. If I'd made the music that I wanted to make, it probably would have been kind of boring and like not had the weirdness that people might like about our band.
Got it. So you think that that sort of kind of naivety of just starting out really helped you in a way?
Absolutely. And definitely, like the older I get and the more I feel like the more I understand music and appreciate it in a deeper way, the less songs I write and the less music I make, just because, I don't know, maybe the bar just keeps rising for me,
Yeah, okay. And of course, speaking of the longevity of this project, as someone with a lifelong relationship with music, you've seen the industry change quite a bit, which I think is kind of an understatement. It's very different now than it used to be. Have those changes ever presented any sort of obstacles when it comes to just like doing what you love?
No, not. No,
Really?
we just keep plugging along. I think as we would no matter what, like as far as streaming and all that kind of stuff goes. I mean, Built to Spill never really sold very many records in the first place, We always kind of made our living off of touring.
Okay.
And that's what we still do. And yeah, I mean, I think the streaming services are pretty lame. Of course, they could share the money a little better and all that. But I also love them too. I think it's amazing that everyone can have every piece of music at their fingertips.
Right.
And I think, my main feeling is that that's better, that people have music than artists getting paid for it.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Okay, that's an interesting take, I think.
But someone's making. I mean, obviously the artist should be making more money.
Yeah,
that's the whole.
It's going to somebody, right?
Yeah. And I think they also do a shitty job too. The streaming services.
Really?
I think they don't. I don't think they work very hard on making their. I mean, I do Spotify, and I have a dozen things, and I'm not even that deep into it. A dozen things that I think they could do better, that would just like make it just nicer for a customer. Like have the year that the record was made, not the year it was remastered. Who cares about that? Right. Or even like sometimes the whole title of the song doesn't appear.
Yeah.
It's just like things like that. They'd be so easy to, if they're making all this money, at least make this thing cool so that people can enjoy it.
Yeah. Just a better, simpler listener experience.
Exactly.
And something I was interviewing some bands in their earlier stages, so maybe within like just the first 5 years for this festival, and actually that was a pretty common topic of conversation with streaming and how a lot of bands just starting out, they sort of have to rely on getting placed on these playlists that people listen to because it's sort of like the modern day radio, I guess.
And us too, exactly.
Really?
Same here,
Okay.
yeah, totally. I mean, that's like we're on one good playlist, somehow we ended up on one, and we're on a few other ones, but there's one like kind of big one.
Okay.
Yeah, totally same experience. And to me, it's not. I mean, the record industry was so shitty forever, though. People, I don't know if they forget that or what, but they've been gouging customers, and not paying artists well forever.
Right.
This doesn't come with the streaming. That's always been the case.
Yeah. You were famously with, was it Warner Brothers for a long time, and then left after a while, and I'm guessing you probably prefer the way that you're doing things now, releasing on this. Okay.
Yeah, totally. And Warner Brothers was fine. We got to do what we wanted, and we fulfilled our contract. They picked up all of the options they had, 6 records or something. They picked them all up, and then we decided to move on. And Sub Pop was, I was psyched to get to work with them.
For sure. Yeah, Sub Pop's awesome. Last question here. Just out of curiosity, actually, have you been to Pensacola before?
I wasn't sure if I'd been here before, but I guess I have been here a couple times.
Really?
And I can't really remember the club. What are some clubs around here? Someone's telling me where they said we played.
This is kind of the big one, and it has been
This is
for
the only
a long
one,
time.
really?
It used to be called Sluggos. I don't know if that rings a bell. Long time ago. This place has been here for a super long time.
I don't think I've been here. And someone was saying, no, someone mentioned another venue that we played at, but I didn't remember it.
Okay.
So probably.
This is where I go. Yeah. Okay. Well, cool. I mean, you got great weather for it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys at the festival tomorrow. So, really appreciate you sitting down and have this conversation. And
thanks, Jack. Thanks for waiting around.
Great show. No worries, dude. I was really happy to sit in on the soundcheck and just watch you guys work.
Thanks.
So, it's quite the thing to watch. So
I appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I thought that was a really good talk, and I hope the background noise is only added to its authenticity. Just for some context, I interviewed Doug on the night of a Built to Spill show, just after soundcheck at the Handlebar, the greatest music venue in Northwest Florida. I mean that. I want to give a huge thank you to the Night Moves Festival, and specifically Rob, the coordinator of said festival, for connecting me with the right people. Everyone I talked to at that pre-show was just floored to attend the festival, and as someone who was also there, I can attest, it was a great time. Thank you so much for listening. Please stay tuned for more interviews and a couple write-ups coming your way this last bit of 2023. That's all. Thanks again.